Hey, it's me, Gus the Gopher for Atmos Energy. I dig all around the yard. Occasionally, I bump into a utility line and get a headache. But if you hit one with your shovel, backhoe, or ditch digger, you could cause a gas leak, disrupt service, or worse. So call 811 at least 3 business days before you or someone else digs in your yard to have those underground utility-owned lines marked. It's free and it's the law. You dig what I'm saying? For more on safe digging, visit atmosenergy.com/811.
Okie folks, welcome back. Horticulturalist Felder Rushing, and I am on the road this morning, but we're going to be talking about what's going on in your garden today. Here it is, April 4th, first weekend in April, and the pollen is great, and there's lots of stuff going on at the garden centers. It's just brimming with stuff. Java, I've been out visiting garden centers. I've actually been planting stuff myself, so we got plenty of stuff we could talk about over the next little while. So how you doing, man?
I'm doing all right, man. You know, it's a pledge drive show, so we're going to be taking a couple pledge breaks, but it's always fun when you're on the road because we get to do the Zoom thing. And, you know, I want to know what your background is for today and actually where you are, man.
Well, I'm actually in, believe it or not, Rochester, New York. I mean, you cannot get further north in New York State than here. I'm right on the edge of the Great Lakes, at the bottom of the Finger Lakes. You can see Canada from here. And I've been talking with a group called the Perennial Plant Association and the Master Gardeners, and had a really good time. We spent a lot of time just going around town, looking at an old cemetery, looking at some gardens, and believe it or not, they've got a whole lot of stuff going on. Even though it's still winter up here, they got plenty of stuff going on, and we could talk about that. But you know, again, it is drive time, so we're not able to take phone calls. So I guess it's gonna be you and me just chatting about what's going on.
Yeah, I could pull up some stuff about my garden, but I'm gonna save what my dear Crystal is doing for another time because
is she taking over? Is she taking over you and your dad's garden? Is that what you're telling me?
No, it's always been her garden, and I'm gonna tell you what I tell her all the time. I'm happy that she put the garden together because it brings her so much joy. Like I know a lot of people's gardens do. Like beyond the production part, like she gets up every morning and goes out and checks it, and even when she's on the road or you know away from the house, she will call and say, "What's happening with the cantaloupes, or how the tomatoes looking?" Like it's just it's just something to keep her together.
We also put some culinary herbs out there for the kids. You know, there's nothing, you know, I've been working a lot with children's gardens over the year. I've worked with, heck, I helped design the kids garden at Epcot, working with a lot of school gardens, a lot of youth gardens, wrote 2 books on it. But to me, there's nothing easier to get the children involved, young people involved, than first of all, a little accessorizing. And I've got some really good ideas that the things that they can do with stuff just around the house. But also, one of the easiest ways to get kids involved in gardening is give them a little corner where they can grow some culinary herbs, some things that are easy to grow. You know, you plant a tomato or a pepper or sunflower, you got to wait for something. But if you set out rosemary and oregano and basil, it's ready to go. And then they can go out and snip it and put it in spaghetti. They can put it in chili. They can put it on pizza, you know, and get a cheese pizza. And they go out and snip their own stuff and talk about giving them food ownership. Plus, they learn how to grow stuff that takes longer in the process. So we can have a good time with that.
Oh yeah, we got all those things out of there. But I know we're not taking calls this morning, but we do have a bunch of emails that have come in that we can tackle. And this first email actually is kind of what we did at the house. Now, we didn't have this old sandbox that they're talking about, but let me just read this email. So this is from they didn't identify themselves, and I guess their email address was something funky, but okay. We have an old handmade sandbox that is currently filled with grass, and we would like to use it for a small garden or maybe herbs, as you say, or
Now you can
something.
say it's okay to say herbs, Java. It's okay. It's French, but it's all right.
Or something we can use in the kitchen. But we have two basset. I know this is probably a frequent thing. We have two basset hounds who love to sniff around and want to make sure we plant something that wouldn't hurt them if they decided to sample it. Now, this will be our first attempt at gardening. So, any suggestions or tips?
Yeah, it's a really good question, and the simple answer is put a fence around it. I know a lot of people don't want to do that, but that's the only solution. My daughter Zoe has got a little raised bed that she and I built in her backyard. It's not very big. It's like maybe 10 feet by 8 feet, and it got two a U-shaped raised bed is two on the side and one at the back, so you can sort of walk into it like a U shape. We put a little small fence all the way around it, and on the fence post we put glass insulators. We sort of decorated it up and put a gate. It looks cute. You can grow stuff on the outside of it, that gets a little bit taller. Anyway, she grows, one of her passions is poison plants. She's just always been kind of a goth like that.
Okay.
And so she has to have plants that won't hurt her dogs, that won't and nosh on everything. So the stuff that likely to cause problems, she put it on the inside of the fence. But in general, the culinary plants, the vegetables, herbs, the tomatoes, they're not going to cause problems for the dogs. I wouldn't want to plant things that if they chew on it, it's going to make them sick. But for the most part, the culinary herbs and the vegetables is not a real problem. The problem is to the plants for the basset hounds. And that's where to me, a fence is just a requirement. It doesn't have to be 2 feet. At the most. I mean, bassets got little short legs. They're not going to be able to jump over, a foot tall. But anyway, make a nice little decorative fence around it. You can maybe make it bigger than the garden, so the garden is set inside a little fenced area, and you can plant container plants around it. You can make it a nice little, suffice to say, the word garden means a guarded area. That's where the word comes from. So you have to create a little garden out there to keep the dogs out.
Now that is something that now to the point of well, you did talk about the poison plants. Well, I'm curious now. What
Yeah.
are the poison plants in your daughter's garden?
Well, there's a lot of plants. A lot of people grow sago palms, and sago palms make the little seeds, and they're toxic to pets.
Okay,
There's a,
yeah.
I mean, I can come up. Matter of fact, we ought to sometime have a poison plant person on a show and talk about that. But there's a lot of plants that are potentially toxic if animals chew on them. Most of the time, they're not going to really eat them because they don't taste that good. But dogs get bored. Dogs are not really bright. They'll chew on stuff. They'll chew on a brick. Okay, so there's some plants that you want to keep out that can cause problems. But again, the culinary herbs and vegetables, not a problem.
All right, we got one more question before we take our first pledge break of the hour. We got Lacey and Kevin at the ready to solicit this morning. But here's another question. It says, "Hi Felder, I will be in class during your show, so I'm emailing you my question. And if you want to email a question, it's garden@mpbonline.org. But I bought a 2-pack of Snowball. Oh, here we go with these words, man.
Snowball bush.
Verbiums.
Yeah, viburnum.
Vi-
Just say bush. Snowball bush.
Okay, snow. Well, she could have. Come on, Jennifer from Past Christian. You could have put Snowball Bush. So she bought a 2-pack of Snowball Bush, and I am trying to decide where to plant them. The package says part sun to full sun, which in my experience means that they can't handle full sun here on the coast. Are they comparable to azaleas? I was considering putting them on the edge of my oak tree canopy for evening sun. Thank you, Jennifer and Past Christian.
Okay, first of all, I'm going to try something new. We've never done this on Zoom. I'm going to give it a try. Let's see if it works. If I hold this up, can you see? Nope,
You
it doesn't
disappeared.
work. You can't see there you go. Can you see
A
that?
little bit,
Holding
yeah.
my phone up.
A little bit, yeah.
Okay. Snowball bush is one of those we talked about party girls last week.
Yeah.
Show up like a there. Snowball bush is a large shrub. It's almost like a small tree, but it's a large shrub, and it's got white flowers that are bigger than your fist. Sometimes they're really, really big, and they're all over the state. They do best in the sunshine. They'll bloom better in sunshine. They'll do okay in part shades. If she wants to put it near her oak, the oak's going to have a lot of roots, going to take up a lot of nutrients away from the viburnum. I go ahead and put them out sort of on their own. Maybe put some azaleas up under them or around them. Create a little party girl scene. But they'll do better. They'll get bigger and bloom better out in the full sun.
Boom, Jennifer. I hope you get this. If she's in class while she's listening, I wonder if she listens through the podcast, like on Apple, or does she watch the live stream on YouTube, or maybe she checks out the app.
Which reminds me, John, that live stream, even though it's a drive time, we're showing pictures. I got plenty of stuff to talk about. And can folks see my background here?
Yeah, they can see. They can see.
This is the scene I took yesterday. Now, I'm in Rochester, New York, which is as far north as you can go without having to go up to Vermont and stuff like that. But they've got some of the gardens here are just knocked out. They're designed to look at their peak in the wintertime. With conifers and plants with red twig dogwoods and ornamental grasses that are, even though they're brown, they're still pretty. But a lot of people, they don't give up in the wintertime. They don't just have nothing but just grass and azaleas. They have all sorts of things that look good even in the middle of the winter, and we can do that too. Plus, we can have flowers. I know it's springtime and it's past talking about winter, but you can plan ahead this year to have a really attractive looking garden in the middle of the winter this coming winter by planting things like some of the daffodils this fall, maybe a flowering quince, the camellias. There's all sorts of things you could do ahead of time to have a good looking garden come this next winter.
And right there, we're going to jump into our first pledge break for the hour. This is a special pledge show of the Gestalt Gardener, and we need your support. It's our last day of our spring pledge drive. It's been a little different, but we appreciate everyone who has given this time around. 888-372-4483 is the number you need to call, or you can show your support for MPB and all of our wonderful programs at our website, mpbonline.org. In the studio to tell you a little bit more, Kevin Farrell and Lacey Alexander.
Thanks, Java. This is MPB Think Radio. I'm Kevin Farrell. Today, we're on the air to ask you to support this program and everything you hear on MPB and see on MPB television.
Of our spring on-air campaign, and this is your chance for you to take a stand and support all of the programs here on MPB for the coming months. Others are taking responsibility for their portion of the overall goal. So if you can give $10 or $15 a month or more, that would be a big help. We work hard each day, so we never come up short on serving the public. So we're hoping we also don't go short on our overall goal for this drive either. Please get involved with a donation in any amount right now, and it will be matched today. Call or text the word GIVE to 888-372-4483 or take 3 minutes to make a donation at mpbonline.org.
We are matching contributions today, so when you make your contribution, you'll double the power when you call in or go online. And here's why your support is so critical to the future of programs on MPB. It helps keep MPB here on the radio and on TV channels that serve students pre-K through high school and through digital education services online at mpbonline.org. Your contribution also assures that on the Gestalt Gardener, Felder will be here to walk the path with you to solve vexing problems in your garden with humor and heart as only Felder can. We rely on you for the lion's share of our operating costs, so please do your part right now while your contribution is being doubled.
MPB comes to you week after week, month after month. When you become a sustainer, your support comes to MPB month after month, and as a sustainer, your gift automatically renews, which means you pick an amount to give, $10, $12, or even $40 on a credit card. We put that to work each month to bring you and your neighbors radio and television that informs, educates, and inspires. If you're already an MPB sustainer, I hope you'll consider adding a few dollars to your monthly gift. $2 or $3 extra will make a difference. It only takes a few minutes at 888-372-4483. You can also become a sustainer online at mpbonline.org, or if you just want to give a one-time gift, that gift is matched. I don't know if we've mentioned that, Kevin.
That's an interesting point there, Lindsay. That's good that we should bring that up. But yes, we're going to keep mentioning it because it's important.
Very.
And if you haven't made your contribution, now is a great time where it'll double the power of your money. You know, as the warmer weather sets in, you may need a few MPB logo items to show the world how much you love MPB Think Radio. So we've bundled together our newest thank you gifts into one mega package, the MPB Spring Bundle. It includes the MPB wind chimes, a nice MPB baseball cap, and the popular new MPB campfire mug. We'll send you the MPB Spring Bundle when you invest $15 a month as a sustainer or $180 all at once, which will be doubled. So call or text the word GIVE to 888-372-4483. Donate online where you can see those thank you gifts. It's mpbonline.org.
We're doing this on-air fundraiser on MPB to make sure you don't miss your opportunity to support what you love. It's only going to take you 3 minutes to make a huge difference in how MPB serves Mississippi and nearby states. Please give an amount that's right for you and have it matched dollar for dollar today by calling or texting the word GIVE to 888-372-4483, 888-372-4483, or do your part at mpbonline.org, and thank you.
We're matching contributions dollar for dollar.
These are weird times, and what we're trying to do, of course, all the programs on MPB are important. They're all local. They're things that you're interested in. We're all interested in. But when it comes to gardening is a way to deal with all the anxiety we're having in the world. You know, this thing called solastalgia. Things are happening that affect us, and we feel like we don't have much control over. So what do? Well, you go out and you plant some tomatoes, or you make some sun tea, or you smile at somebody. But if you'll go to a garden center and get a big pot, enough potting soil to fill it up, you can find some flowers, a little shrub, some herbs. You can make a whole little garden in just one big pot. It's not going to save the world, but it'll save some of your sanity. Before we get to some of this, let me mention some things that are happening this next week. Java is a really busy week. I mean, a busy week, and you're going to be on the road too. No, you're not going to be in Clarksdale next Friday, but the MPB team is.
Yeah, Next Stop Mississippi is going to be there. You're going to be there.
Yep.
But also we're going to be out in Meridian. Sip and Savor is happening at the Max on Saturday. So it's a busy time. We have some other productions happening here at MPB. Like, this pledge drive is important because you are supporting so many things.
Yep, that's right. I've got a pretty busy week myself. First of all, I'm not going to be able to make it to the plant swap in Mobile, but Mobile, Alabama has a really, really big plant swap going on this Saturday. It starts at 10 o'clock. It's going to be at the Central Presbyterian Church parking lot. Just do Central Presbyterian, and it'll take you there. But it's the corner of St. Anne and Dauphin, I think. Anyway, it's a lot of fun. The folks bring plants. There's plenty to go around. And tell everybody I said, hey, but I'm going to be working with Master Gardeners in North Carolina Saturday. That's tomorrow. But anyway, next week is National Library Week, and I do a lot of programs in libraries. There's a lot of fun all over the state. But I'm going to be in the Louisville Library on Tuesday, April the 8th. Tuesday, going to be at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. 3 o'clock in Louisville Library on Tuesday. Then at 6 o'clock Tuesday, I'm going to do a program at the Walnut Grove Library. So that's two libraries on next Tuesday, 3 o'clock in Louisville, 6 o'clock at Walnut Grove. Then on Wednesday, I'm going to be at the Carthage Library. That's going to be at 4 in the afternoon. So that'll be a lot of fun. I'm going to be having a lot of fun though in Clarksdale. You know, Java, we always do the Crossroads Fest. So, well, I say we always do it. It's a lot of fun, but I'm doing two things. One is we're broadcasting live from the cooperative. It's a garden center that's right downtown at the bottom end of the main street in Clarksdale. We'll be broadcasting live from there next Friday, but on Thursday afternoon at 3 o'clock, I'm doing a special presentation. Backing my truck up, the one that's got all the flowers and stuff. Matter of fact, while we're doing this, I think I have a picture of my truck that Sahana or Blake can put up. But I'm gonna be there with my truck. It's all decked out. I've already started swapping out winter stuff. I've got basil planted. Still got some pansies. But me and my truck are gonna be at the garden center called the Cooperative downtown Clarksdale next Thursday afternoon at 3 o'clock. Hope to see some of y'all there. So that's pretty much it. Louisville Library, 3 o'clock Tuesday. Walnut Grove, 6 o'clock on Tuesday. Carthage Library at 4 o'clock on Wednesday, and then the Cooperative Garden Center downtown Clarksdale on Thursday the 8th at 3 o'clock. I mean, yeah, Thursday the whatever day that is, the 10th.
Moving,
It's crazy, man.
moving and grooving. That's what you're doing, Felder. You moving and grooving, man.
I am. And by the way, I'm getting a lot of emails and a lot of interest on the Mississippi Gardening Facebook about the pollen that's going on right now.
You cannot wash your car enough. You cannot wash your car enough. It's going to be yellow. They should just sell it as a popular car paint color or something.
Well, by the way, I've got an answer to a question nobody ever asked. If you're interested, it's a stupid one, but it's a great one. You ready?
Let's shoot.
Okay. First of all, when I was driving, I flew out of Atlanta. I had to drive to the Atlanta airport, and Atlanta was in a haze. You come over that hill on Interstate 20 and see sort of like Atlanta's up on a hill in the distance. It was a yellow haze from the pollen, and we have more pollen than ever this year. This is the fact. It's being reported by all the weather people. It's more potent for activating our immune system. But anyway, this year is a real doozy, and according to a lot of scientists, the pollen counts are expected to be higher than ever. In 39 states, especially on the coast. And here's the reason why. A lot of people there may be some deniers out there, but because of climate change, and we are seeing change in our climate, it's affecting local weather. But with the milder temperatures, milder winter, the trees are actually growing better, and they're putting off. We have a lot more carbon dioxide in the environment, and all this causes higher pollen count and earlier pollen seasons. So warmer temperatures, more carbon dioxide, plants going to grow aggressively, put out more pollen. But the question nobody asks, Java, is why is pollen yellow?
That is a good one. That's a good one. Why is pollen yellow, man?
Nobody ever asks that. Well, not all pollen. Most pollen is yellow. I mean, magnolias have white pollen. Because they're more visible to certain kind of pollinators. But the ones that are blowing around right now, the oaks, the pecans, the pines, and later in the fall, ragweed, most of those have got the ones that blow in the air, the one that cause our allergies, get the color from carotenoid pigments. It's the same thing that makes carrots and daffodils yellow. Anyway, these pigments are in pollen because it's protective. As this stuff blows around and lands on stuff, yellow shields the pollen genetic material from damaging ultraviolet radiation. It protects it from sunburn.
So it's basically wearing a yellow coat.
That's right. Isn't it a stupid thing to know why is pollen yellow? But it's to protect the pollen from getting a sunburn.
But also, Felder, that's one of the things you can only learn from MPB Think Radio and Felder Rushing on the Gestalt Gardener.
So, that's what we do. Anybody can talk about, how to plant stuff green side up and all like that. But, why is pollen yellow? And by the way, the garden centers, I went to several garden centers in the metro area, and they are loaded with plants. I mean, lots and lots and lots of stuff. And before I left on this trip to go to New York, I actually planted some tomatoes and peppers. I know it's not Good Friday, but Good Friday is an artificial thing that people come up with. Here in upstate New York, they don't plant until after Memorial Day, the latter half of May. they got over a month before they can even think about planting stuff. So anyway, it's time to plant. I think we're going to get some cool temperatures next week. But if you want to set out some pepper plants, some tomato plants, some basil, some zinnias, things like that, I think it's a good weekend to go. And the garden centers are loaded with good plants.
Felder, you talked out over the break thing, man.
What?
We're in a pledge break. All right, now we got to go to Kevin and Lacey and ask for support for this program. We'll be right back.
Thanks, Java. This is MPB Think Radio. I'm Kevin Farrell, and we're on the air to ask you to take part in our spring campaign. A great way to get involved is with a contribution of $5 or $10 a month. And here's some exciting news. There is a dollar-for-dollar match on the table thanks to the MPB Member Matching Fund. They're going to double the value of each and every donation today. With me in the studio, here's Lacey Alexander.
Thank you, Kevin. And if you are one of those people who listens to our on-air campaigns and waits until the quote-unquote right moment to get involved, I would say this is the right moment because we are matching your donations dollar for dollar on this last day of pledge. We're in the final hours of our MPB Spring On-Air fundraiser, and we're hoping to hear from you right now. The most reliable form of funding for this 24-hour day service comes in the form of your contribution, $10, $12, or $20 a month. This is going to be a success. We know that MPB listeners will rally for great public radio today. Text the word GIVE to this number, 888-372-4483. Call us at that number, 888-372-4483, or head to mpbonline.org, click the Donate Now link, and have your donation matched dollar for dollar today.
We're matching dollar for dollar with every contribution. You know, MPB is much more than radio. Have you ever watched our radio streams on video at YouTube? It's easy. You can go to youtube.com and search for Mississippi Public Broadcasting. Click on the show you want to see and enjoy. There are episodes of The Gestalt Gardener, of course, but also Deep South Dining, Next Stop Mississippi, and Wednesdays, The Sit Down. Go there when one of the shows is airing on MPB Think Radio, and you can see it happening live by video. But your contribution makes the MPB YouTube channel available wherever you want to see it. So make a contribution now while it will be doubled.
If I came up to you on the street and told you I could guarantee to make you smarter and happier in exchange for $2.30 a week, you might think I was crazy. But that's what happens when you give a $120 contribution to MPB Think Radio. The equivalent of $2.30 per week will go right back into a 24-hour day service that features news from NPR and local shows that explore a variety of topics. In turn, your life gets better whenever you flip on MPB Think Radio and online at mpbonline.org. You are the one who makes it all happen at $120 a month or $10 a month as a sustainer. Call 888-372-4483 or give online at mpbonline.org and have your donation matched dollar for dollar today.
It's a dollar for dollar match today when you make your contribution. Supporting the station at mpbonline.org is quick and easy. We hope that you'll take just an extra minute or so to leave a comment because we love to read them on the air. Terry from Madison says, I love Mississippi Public Broadcasting. I'm thankful that y'all are here. Barbara from Hernando chips in, as a retired teacher, I believe in MPB because I believe in lifelong learning. Whether it's you, whatever you love about MPB, I hope that you'll get involved the way that Terry and Barbara did. You can call us 888-372-4483 or give online at mpbonline.org. It's 888-372-4483 or online mpbonline.org. Why did I just say that twice? Because we're doubling your contribution.
And we'll say it about 3 or 4 more times. If you have 3 minutes, consider contributing to MPB Think Radio's fundraiser online at mpbonline.org and get your donation matched dollar for dollar. I have a few comments as well, Kevin, and these are actually kind of nice. Thorne and Kelly from Jackson send a shout out to our own Kevin Farrell, who works to make your listening experience great each day. Marie from Starkville loves Fix It 101 and listens as often as she can. What good comments for us today. Please join our listeners in doing your part by calling 888-372-4483 or give online at mpbonline.org. And when you do so, tell us how MPB Think Radio is part of your life. Donate now. Dollar for dollar match. Now is the perfect time. We thank you very much.
Dear Felder, we sure love your show. You play cheesy music and share what you know. about gardening and fun things and making things pretty and helping us all, even kids, to get dirty. Signed, Dear Gardener. Dear Gardener, dear Gardener, I love what we do. By planting and tending, we help the world too. Your phone calls and emails help Java and me jive. Now please call, support us, and keep this show live. Signed, Dear Felder.
Welcome back, folks. I feel like apologizing to MPB because I'm such a goof off. I mean, I'm sitting up in a hotel room in a bed doing a live stream broadcast from Rochester, New York, because I love sharing with y'all. I wish you could see some of the stuff that's going on in my garden right now. And next week I'll show some pictures of that. But the main thing is I had planted my truck. I stuck some basil in. I still got some winter stuff, but I'm getting ready to take it up, drive it up to Clarksdale and around the state, doing some lectures. But Java, you say I talked over a break. Did we miss all the stuff about the stuff I've seen at garden centers?
No, we didn't. We didn't miss anything that you said, but just the formatics of the radio program were a little off, but it's okay. We made it.
You're the pro. I'm the guy who just. How do you say? Somebody said, "What do you do for a living?" I said, "Well, I BS about flowers." And they said, "No, really." I said, "No, really. That's what I do." But anyway, I did want to show a couple of pictures before we go back to some of the questions people asked on the live stream. One is how they wrap shrubs up. I have a picture of shrubs across the front of a house, and they look like they're regular shaped shrubs instead of little green meatballs. They're wrapped up in burlap because they haven't had enough snow up here. The climate has changed even up in the north part of the country. But because they haven't had snow cover, they've had to wrap their shrubs up to keep the foliage from drying out in the sun and the wind over the wintertime. Otherwise, the shrubs turn brown. But how'd you like to go out and have to wrap up your shrubs in the wintertime to keep them from looking bad? I'm thinking, just get some spray paint, make them green that way.
Now, that's a lot. I'm looking at the picture right now. That wrapping I don't know. I could just say this as a fact. They do things different in New York.
Well, and they have to. But I also have a picture I want to show folks because some of the bulbs are blooming right now. I went to an old cemetery, not quite as old as one in Jackson, but I've got a picture of some of the daffodils that are blooming in this old cemetery. And the daffodils that grow up north are not the same varieties as what we grow. They can't grow paper whites. They can't grow jonquils. Those are southern. They like a milder winter. But the cemetery covered daffodils, they also have this plant called snowdrop. In Java, a lot of us grow this plant. We call it snowdrop, but it's not snowdrop. It's called snowflake. Snowflakes have got little white bells, and each of the little petals have got a green dot on it. We all know snowflake. They call them snowdrop, but I have a picture of the real snowdrops that grow up north. The Latin name is galanthus. Instead of the little bells with green dots, they got little wings on them, 3 wings. And they still look, they call snowdrops because before the flowers open up, they look like little small pearls. They look just like, these all call them snow pearls. But anyway, the true snowdrops, when they open up, they got little wings on them. Instead of green dots, got little green hearts on them. I just want to show that because a lot of people, they call everything snowdrops, just like they call everything zebra plant or whatever. Anyway, I just want to show some of those things. Did we get we got some other emails from people listening on live stream, didn't we?
Yeah, we got a couple of emails, but we did get a question from our YouTube live stream this morning that I kind of want to touch on. It says Cristobal from the Res, and if you're on our YouTube live stream, you can drop a question in right now. It's this person says, from the Res, is it practical to grow black currant in mid-Mississippi? Is that currant?
Black currant.
Okay, black currant in mid-Mississippi, and can the berry be produced?
Yeah, no, and the short answer is no. We don't even grow currants. They're not blueberries. They have like they're vines, and they have either red, black, or white little small berries. They're a little bit bigger than blueberries, but currants they're northern plants. They have to just like a lot of the raspberries. The further north you go, the better the raspberries grow. But the black, red, and white currants. They just won't take. First of all, they need a longer winter. They need a long cold spell to do well, which we don't have. We have up and down, but also they don't really like our hot, humid summer nights. So currants are, what I tell people, people want to grow currants. I say you need to learn how to grow figs because where currants grow, figs don't grow. So anyway, it's just we can't grow bananas in Mississippi. We can't grow currants, but we can grow the heck out of some figs and blueberries and muscadines and stuff like that.
All right, we do have a couple more emails I want to touch on before we go to our pledge break. Let's see. This says, good morning, Felder and Java. Felder, I was wondering if anything could be done to straighten my plum tree back.
That's a good question.
There once was a tree limb growing over the plum tree that caused it to bend and grow like this. Eventually was able to cut the limb off other tree, and at one time the tree was actually straight. Amazingly, the tree still produces fruit. Thanks. Enjoy the show and the knowledge that's given over time. TC.
Well, that's a good question. The trying to straighten up a tree is almost impossible for a couple of reasons. First of all, their roots grow straight out from the tree. Roots grow straight out. They don't go down deep like we think of. They grow outward. And if a tree is leaning or then the roots on the both sides are going at different angles. If you straighten it up, you stretch them on one side, you bend them on the other. So if it's leaning from the ground, it's best to go ahead and just leave it like that so you don't mess up the roots. But if it's limbs that are straight, what you do is you find a branch or even a twig that's going in the direction you want, and you cut a branch off just beyond that. It's called directional pruning. So after, if you want to wait till after you get through picking this year, that'd be fine. But if you'll just simply cut off some of the branches that grow in the direction you don't want, and then leave some that grow in the direction you do want, and encourage them by just leaving twigs and branches that are pointing. Then it may end up being a zigzag instead of a lean, but it's just directional. Cut off the stuff growing in the wrong direction, leave some stuff growing in the right direction, and the energy that would have gone to what you cut off will go to what's left, and it'll actually grow pretty quick. But don't try to straighten up a plant, that's wobbling around in the ground, because all you're doing is you're bending or you're stretching roots. It's not good.
Okay, Felder, I'm going to read this next question, and when we come back from our next pledge break, I want you to give the answer. Okay.
Okay, make it interesting. It's going to be interesting. Stick with us, folks.
It's going to be interesting. So here it is. Hi, Felder. I moved about 6 years ago from Pike County to Northern California, but I retire next year and will come back to Summit in February. I'm back home 4 or 5 times a year and always enjoy your show on MPB. Several years ago, I bought some things at the El Dorado County Native Plant Society sale, and since then, they've done great in pots on my patio. I'm not getting my hopes up that they'll thrive in Mississippi, but I thought I'd pick your brain as to their chances. What do you think? I got Western Redbud, Mock Orange, Oregon Grape, Clay, Placerville, California. So we're going to answer that when we come back, okay?
I can do it. Good question.
All right, cool beans. It's a special pledge drive edition of the Gestalt Gardener. And as always, we appreciate your support. 888-372-4483 is the number to call. Kevin and Lacey, they've been talking about one main thing, and I love keeping the main thing, and it's that match. It's that dollar for dollar. Get in on this right now, 888-372-4483, or send your contribution at our website, mpbonline.org.
This is MPB Think Radio, and it is our spring fundraising campaign. Good morning, I'm Kevin Farrell. Join us right now. you can have twice the impact that you normally would because there's a dollar-for-dollar match going on, and it's courtesy of the MPB Member Matching Fund. That's a group of MPB supporters who work together. You might have heard that with me in the studio is Lacey Alexander. And Lacey, during the break, we were chatting about how sustaining gifts would work with the matching, and I think I figured it out. It's almost like you get an extra month free. So I think what they'll do is they'll take 1/12 of your contribution, and then they will match that. So you get 13 months a year this year instead of just 12.
Yeah, but I think that is good math. I would not know, but I'm going to assume that you did that math correctly. As we approach the final moments of the spring campaign, you can support the work of local Reports from Mississippi edition and local shows with hosts who are now your friends. How? By making a contribution that will be matched today, by the way, as we work together to fund all of those programs. MPB is a not-for-profit, listener-supported station, and today we're asking you to get involved in just 3 minutes. You still have time on this final day of the on-air campaign. We're calling in the cavalry, and the cavalry is you. Call or text the word GIVE to 888-372-4483, or make your gift online at mpbonline.org and have that gift matched dollar for dollar.
That's right. The cavalry is marching in 2x2, 2 horses, 2 soldiers there, because everything is being doubled. You know, America has the Mississippi Delta to thank for being the birthplace of American music. It started with the blues. Out of the blues grew jazz, R&B, soul, rock and roll, and hip-hop. We all need more music in our lives, so with your support, MPB Think Radio has expanded our musical offerings. Monday through Friday, 8 to 10, it's World Cafe, music from artists in every genre with live performances and interviews. And on Sundays at 7, it's Afropop Worldwide, an award-winning show dedicated to showcasing the music of African artists and the African diaspora. Your gift helps pay for shows that make you think and shows that feed your musical passions on MPB. So make your contribution right now while it will be doubled.
As we've said before, the success of public broadcasting has been a sense of shared responsibility. Each of us has a role to play in supporting MPB, so it's not all on one person's shoulders. Some can give thousands of dollars, others give $100 or $20. The decision is yours. You decide whatever makes sense to you. We promise to take that money and put it back into in-depth reporting, analysis, and midday programs that will make your life better. I hope you'll be the next one to share the responsibility of protecting something that's critical to building a civil society. Call or text the word GIVE to 888-372-4483 or give online at mpbonline.org. And Kevin, I don't know if I've mentioned it, but those donations will be matched.
Oh my gosh, really? That's exciting news.
Isn't that wild?
Well, thank you for bringing that up.
We should have said something sooner.
We wouldn't want people to miss that information. When you become a first-time supporter of MPB, you'll find that programs here sound different simply because you helped bring them to life. You'll feel proud knowing that Think Radio continues to come to all of us because you've helped make it happen. So make your first-time contribution right now. A lot of people start memberships as sustainers, $10, $15, or $20 a month. But it's all up to you, but we do need you to act now because, again, your contribution is being doubled today. Our website is mpbonline.org or call 888-372-4483.
Many of us are getting used to digital subscriptions for newspapers, magazines, and TV channels. That's okay. You should support outlets that expand your universe. It's good for the mind. It's good for the soul. The difference is that MPB is asking you to decide what you think is a fair amount to give each month. Many people give $10, $15, or $20 a month to support news, midday programs that make you think, and television that serves students statewide. You'll receive MPB Passport in addition to any other thank you gift you choose. Make the switch to Sustainer by calling or texting the word GIVE to 888-372-4483 or do it online in just 3 minutes at mpbonline.org.
We'll match that contribution dollar for dollar.
And we say thank you.
Alrighty, folks, welcome back. Horticulturalist Felder Rushing. Java, I'm having a blast. I know that, the folks in MP, y'all are so professional. And how did you end up with a goofball? I'm sitting up in a hotel bed with a green screen taped to the wall behind me, and I got my laptop and everything sitting on an upside down trash can.
But see, we got a little bit of echo. But to me, that is dedication.
Well, I didn't do the echo, did I?
I'm gonna say you did, even though you might not have.
Well, anyway, you want me to answer the question we had earlier? Is it time to do that?
Yes.
Okay, Clay had moved. He moved to Northern California. He's coming back home. He wants to bring some plants with him. Luckily, the plants he asked about will actually grow in Mississippi. A lot of stuff that grows up in the Pacific Northwest. You're talking about Oregon, Vancouver, Seattle, Washington State. They have the same climate as England. It never gets really, really hot. It rains a little at a time all along. Never gets really cold, but it stays chilly all winter. And a lot of their plants, like in English plants, won't take our hot summers, our heavy rains, and our fickle winters. But he wants to bring back Western redbud, which will do okay. Western redbud will do fine. Our native redbud is fine. We've got some really interesting cultivars of our native redbuds that have prettier leaves. Some have burgundy leaves, prettier flowers. He also wants to bring mock orange, which is the Philadelphias. The Philadelphias that he wants to grow has a little bit different shaped flowers than what we call mock orange. Mock orange and English dogwood. People call them, but English dogwood and mock orange are the same plant in Mississippi. It's a plant called Philadelphus. Terrific. Looks like a dogwood on a bush. Anyway, they're terrific plants. The ones we grow here are a little bit leggier, look more like dogwoods. One he wants to bring back has prettier flowers, and it should do quite well in Mississippi. And he wants to bring back Oregon grape, which is Mahonia. Not the kind of Mahonia that we grow that gets tall with the yellow flowers, but more of a ground cover, bushy type thing with pretty leaves. It does fine in Mississippi. So anyway, looked up on that.
Now, Felder, I had sent you a list of questions. Which number was the one about the supergrass?
The one about the supergrass. It was number 3.
Number 3?
Yeah, it was great.
No, number 3 was the one we just answered. Let's see.
Okay. Well, anyway, the one that starts, he's from is Ted Rishel. You mean read it because you sent it to me?
Yeah, go ahead and read it.
Okay, Ted Rishel from Long Beach just saw an ad for a supergrass that sounds too good to be true. First of all, Ted, I want to see the ad myself because it might be a good thing. I don't know. It sounds real squirrely to me. So if you could, let me know what the ad is. But he says that this is the grass that grows in full shade, which I doubt. It only cut it every 2 or 3 weeks, which I doubt. It's ready for foot traffic after 30 days, which I doubt.
But Felder, it's a super grass, Felder. You never...
I know. It said it grows in any climate. I don't think so, but okay. Green all winter and all summer. Okay, whatever. And do you know anything about this stuff? I'm thinking he's talking about AstroTurf. That's what I'm thinking about.
Yeah, AstroTurf, it's in the minimum water. It works.
And I should say AstroTurf. That's a generic thing, like saying Weed Eater or Coke, But the synthetic grasses they have here are Java. They are so realistic. They come in. You can get like 6 different kinds of grasses. They look real to me.
Not that plastic stuff. The little plastic.
Yeah, well, it's a polymaterial, but nowadays they mix. They have different shaped leaves, different heights, just like different between Bermuda and St. Augustine. They mix 2 or 3 different colors of green in together, and they actually mix some brown in there to look like thatch. It really looks like a grass. It really, really does. So synthetic turf is not the old AstroTurf we used to think about that smells like the air that comes out of a beach ball.
Okay, because I was, they did not AstroTurf, but there was this kind of green, almost like just a covering, this plastic covering.
Oh yeah. No, the stuff they had. A lot of people would be very surprised when you go to many of the gardens in England, the small cottage gardens, and even big areas in the United States at the arboretums and botanic gardens where they have wedding lawns. They use synthetic turf a lot. But this new stuff is nowhere near like the old AstroTurf stuff. Anyway, Ted, if you send me that ad if you can, because I'm curious about this. But it sounds on all 6 points that you mentioned, I doubt it. But at the same time, I'm ready to learn.
Yeah,
I'm ready to learn. Here on Think Radio, I learn to think too.
And speaking of learning, man, I I feel like I learn something every time you hop on the microphone, and I appreciate you and your dedication, because we're going to show these behind the scenes pictures of you sitting on the bed with the upside down garbage can and the green screen taped to the back. That's dedication, man.
Are you showing it now?
No. I wouldn't do that to the people.
Because, I'd have put on clean socks if I knew that.
But Felder, the one thing about these pledge shows, man, they're just never long enough. Hopefully you have a great time out there in Rochester, New York with who you're talking to again?
The Perennial Plant Association and their Master Gardener. The Master Gardener, they're still celebrating their 40th anniversary this year. So anyway, I'm going to be in Louisville Library Tuesday, Walnut Grove Library Tuesday, Carthage Library Wednesday. Going to be at the Juke Joint Festival in Clarksdale. Going to be at the Garden Center there next Thursday afternoon at 3 o'clock. So come on, let's have a good time. I'll be there in my truck. If you get a chance, go to a Garden Center. They're loaded with stuff. Put your pot full of stuff. In Java, we need to take your kids shopping for some stuff they can grow that they can eat. I'm horticulturalist Felder Rushing. See y'all next. Thank you for supporting MPB. We'll see you next week.
I love you, Felder.
Thank you, sir. Did we get it in time?
Yeah. Now, Kevin and Lacey, take it away.
Thanks, Java. This is MPB Think Radio. Good morning. I'm Kevin Farrell. We're asking you to get involved in something great, an organization whose only goal is to serve the great state of Mississippi. But there's another great reason to give right now. Thanks to the MPB Member Matching Fund, your gift will be matched dollar for dollar. With me in the studio, here's Lacey Alexander.
Thank you, Kevin. And thank you for mentioning that we do have a match to match your donations dollar for dollar today. Very big day, very exciting day for us here at MPB. This is the final day of our Spring On Air campaign and is a chance for you to be a part of supporting all of the programs here on MPB Think Radio and MPB Television in the coming months. Others are taking responsibility for their portion of the goal. So if you can give $50, $75, $100 or more, that would be a big help. Here's the thing. We're not close to our goal enough on the last day of this campaign. MPB local hosts and journalists and thousands of children all over Mississippi are counting on you to stand up for life-changing radio and TV. Donate at 888-372-4483. You can also text the word GIVE to 888-372-4483 or take 3 minutes to make a donation and have that donation matched at mpbonline.org.
That's right. We're matching all contributions dollar for dollar. MPB listeners appreciate the variety they hear when they tune in, from news and analysis to storytelling and music on the weekends. There's so much more during the week with how-to and self-help programs ranging from legal issues to Deep South cooking to your health. These programs are made right here at MPB Think Radio by people who live in the community, and it's supported by the very people who listen week after week. Listener support makes up that most reliable source of income for this not-for-profit service. That's why we ask you to take a few minutes to support all of that at mpbonline.org or giving us a call at 888-372-4483. That's a perfect time to do so right now, because we are matching all contributions dollar for dollar. Yes, you heard me right. Dollar for dollar match going on right now.
In order to get Hulu, Netflix, Amazon Prime, and other on-demand videos, you have to subscribe. That's fair. Those companies can change the subscription fee anytime. But with PBS Passport, you receive access to an on-demand video when you support MPB at $5 a month or more. Passport is an MPB member benefit. You have control over how much you donate to MPB annually. So if you want to give $5, $10, or $20 a month or increase your current giving, Passport will still be there for you. MPB will continue to add educational shows and classic MPB documentaries to Passport. Call or text the word GIVE to 888-372-4483. Get your donation match dollar for dollar today, and thank you.